This morning on Juice and Java, we talk about all the latest on the Mueller report and historic flooding in Africa.
Plus, what one woman is doing with her lottery winnings and what exactly the Florida Man Challenge is. You don't want to miss this. Juice and Java starts right now. Good morning, and thanks for starting your morning with us. I'm Landon Wexler.
And I'm Rebekah Castor. Let's kick things off with your morning brew, all your top headlines from this week.
SU men's basketball is officially out of the NCAA tournament. The Orange fell to Baylor 78-69 on Thursday in a round of 64.
It's just something that we gotta, right now just get over. Obviously it sucks because we, had high expectations for, this postseason, but just gotta get back in the gym and keep working.
SU College Democrats and Republicans held a 2-hour debate on Thursday night. They discussed income inequality, the First Amendment rights, and climate change.
I'm hoping that we can figure out solutions that benefit us both instead of just trying to get entrenched in our own side more.
Attorney General William Barr is now in control of the Mueller report. Last night, Special Counsel Robert Mueller handed his report over to Barr. The White House has yet to be briefed on it.
And 50 people have been charged in connection to a college admissions scandal, including Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. Parents were paying for other people to take tests for their children and bribing college coaches to have their children receive admission as athletes when they did not actually play on the team.
Flooding in the Midwest is expected to get worse as spring has sprung. The Midwest experienced heavy flooding earlier in the week, resulting in 3 deaths and severe damage to farmlands.
Almost everything is now in the hands of the British Parliament and Theresa May's government.
Britain is breathing a sigh of relief as the EU agreed to extend the deadline for Brexit. Prime Minister Theresa May and British Parliament now have until May 22nd to come to an agreement. Protests broke out today about the decision.
This has been your morning brew.
And now let's dive deeper into this week's top stories with The Squeeze.
The Mueller investigation is over. The special counsel submitted his report into possible Russian meddling in the 2016 election to the Attorney General last night. So far, findings have been kept confidential, and the Attorney General stated that he could be ready to release the report conclusions in the next few days. However, both Democrats and Republicans have requested that he make the entire report public. Sources at the Department of Justice say Mueller has not recommended fuller indictments.
So this is going to be super interesting about, what's going to come out in the next few days. I would say that he should really just go ahead and release everything so that because people are just going to freak out if everything is not released. So I think as much of the report should be released as long as there's nothing in there that threatens national security.
Right, I agree. I think that there's a point where no one's going to be happy until it's all released. And now that the Attorney General has the power to release this information and all their conclusions and everything has been figured out, it's only a matter of days, weeks, hours until it's all is figured out,
It's crazy to me to think that this has been such a long investigation that has literally been talked about since President Trump came into office. And now it's going to be somewhat coming to an end now. This
whole witch hunt maybe figured out, who knows? Boy, did I just say that? We're going to leave them in the, oh my gosh.
We'll move on from there.
We shall, absolutely.
And across the pond, the Brexit saga continues. Prime Minister Theresa May submitted an agreement to the House of Commons this week to delay the UK's departure from the European Union for 3 months until May 22nd. On Thursday, the deal received the required approval from European Parliament, but there is still one more step to approval. A vote in the House of Commons is planned for the extension next week, but May says she will delay it if she lacks support. If this deal does not pass, she can extend her deadline as far as April 12th, 2 weeks after the original March 29th deadline. May says short of accepting this deal, the UK faces a no-deal Brexit or would have to reconsider her earlier proposals.
Talk about processes that last forever. This has been almost 3 years in the making, and now coming up on March 29th, it's the deadline where they have to make a deal or no deal.
Yes, it's time for that deal or no deal to come to it. You know, if they, it's pretty much likely. I would say it's very likely that they're going to be granted the extension. So she is going to have more time,
Right.
and they're doing this because they want to make sure that Brexit doesn't crash out of the European Union, and that it's able to just exit, you know, with a set plan. And you know, May's plans are very unpopular right now, and she's been very, you know, stingent on keeping her plans the way that she has them. So hopefully, over the next month, they'll be able to come up with something that more people are a fan of.
Absolutely. For the EU, let's hope they figure it out. Well, multiple countries in Africa are grappling with the aftermath of a ravaging cyclone. The Category 2 storm hit Malawi, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, causing 2 major rivers in Mozambique to overflow. The flooding that has ensued is so severe it can be seen in satellite images and has been described as an inland ocean. The official numbers of people currently killed is 417, but the country's president has stated that an actual number could be well over 1,000. Well over 1,000. Those who survived the storm now face relocation and disease, as entire villages are inaccessible due to water, and those trapped by flooding face infection from cholera and malaria.
Wow, first, just those images that we saw, that is just something I've never seen before. That destruction in Mozambique right now, my heart goes out to that country because they're really suffering right now. And that inland ocean, I just can't even imagine something like that happening here.
Well, we kind of are with the Midwest, with Nebraska and Iowa. These are things we're seeing, but to a third world country like third world countries like Mozambique and Malawi and all the, it's tough to see. They already have so many things to deal with. Now with this natural disaster of 1,000 people, could possibly be 1,000 people killed, dealing with disease.
Yes.
That's tough to see.
Yeah, unfortunately, that number is just going to raise, and I know the health department's out there right now trying to get these disease outbreaks under lock before they spread even further. There's been many reported disease outbreaks, and hopefully that's able to be contained soon.
So for the best.
But now across the ocean, New Zealand is healing after shootings at 2 mosques in Christchurch. Last week, a gunman opened fire on 2 mosques, killing 50 people. Following the shootings, the country's prime minister announced her intentions to ban military-style semi-automatic weapons from the country. On Friday, hundreds of New Zealanders showed their support for the Muslim community by forming a human chain around a mosque to protect Muslims during their Friday prayer. Here on campus, the Muslim Student Association held a visual on Tuesday night to remember the lives lost. And Chancellor Severud emailed the student body expressing the anguish at the violence and voiced his support for the people of New Zealand.
We'll talk about things that are, this is so tough. This is so tough to see and so detrimental for the country as a whole. But the unity that comes out of it, like chain linking around the church, that's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. And in the local park in Christchurch, there was the Muslim community gathered for their afternoon prayer, and thousands came together, including the president. They came together to unite and really remember those that were lost. 50 people.
Yes, that's awesome to see, and that's even happening here in Syracuse as well. We've had several CitrusTV reporters go out and speak to different local mosques here, and a lot of people are reporting that attendance is up at these services because people want to come out and support the Muslim community at this time.
So at least there's some sort of glimmer of hope there for sure. And Syracuse police are asking for help in finding a robbery suspect. A man walked into the M&T Bank in Eastwood, Syracuse just before 9 a.m. on Friday and gave the teller a note demanding money. The teller complied and the robber left the bank with an undisclosed amount of money. He then fled on foot away from the shopping area, and the bank is in and toward the street. The suspect is described as a dark-haired middle-aged man with a weathered face. You could call the Syracuse Police Department with any information or submit an anonymous tip through the SPD mobile app.
So first off, this bank robbery is not your usual bank robbery. First, this man casually just walks into the bank with no mask, and it's not reported that he had any sort of weapon on him. And he just casually goes up to the teller and slides him a note, and the teller just complies. They say it was a demanding note, so he must have written something very intense on there, because the teller just gives him the money that he wanted, and then he just walks away on foot, no sort of running, no sort of like car ready to get him or anything like that. So, and the fact that his image is all across the internet right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he'll be caught soon.
Talk about confidence. He's walking in with no mask and a weathered face.
I know.
They're saying he's a weathered face, man. That's tough to the heart. Oh man, that's tough. That's rough to see.
Shouldn't do the crime if you can't take the punchline.
Yeah, amen, amen.
But now in some disappointing news, Syracuse's men's basketball team will not be taking on Gonzaga today after falling to Baylor in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. The team struggled with without senior guard Frank Howard, who was suspended indefinitely following a violation of the athletic department policy. The end of this year's tournament run also brings with it the end of Tyus Battle's career at SU. Battle will be leaving Syracuse to enter his name in the NBA draft. Now, while the men's team run may be over, the women's team journey begins today when they take on Fordham Rams at 1.
Well, go Syracuse women's basketball,
Yes.
but at least we have that to look forward to. Right now, what an anticlimactic ending of the Syracuse men's basketball team. Like,
Yeah.
we had to deal with Tyus Battle being out for a while, and then finally a glimmer of hope, he's back, and Frank Howard fails a drug test. Definitely just forfeited his last college basketball game.
Yeah, not the ending we wanted to see at all, but Baylor, they came to play. When that first buzzer started, they were the better team, and you know, we were coming in above them into the game, but Baylor just was there to play, and I think they're going to go a lot further in the tournament.
100%. Nah, I know you may or may not be going to the women's basketball, right? Possibly? Oh, no.
I should go support them.
Amen. Good job, Rebekah. Coming up after the break, we sit down with an ambassador from Thrive Cash who will tell us all about the company and the way it loans money.
Stay with us.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch. Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Welcome back to Juice in Java. We are now here with Sam Kessler, who is a Syracuse ambassador for Thrive Cash. Welcome, Sam. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. So
Thanks so much
first
for
off,
having me.
what exactly is Thrive Cash?
Okay, so Thrive Cash is a mobile app that allows students, only students, it was designed for students, to borrow cash while they're in school, and then they don't have to make a single payment until they graduate.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically, reasons people usually use the app is if they're relocating for a job, if they want some extra money to take a fun trip before they start work and sign their life away, if they just want extra cash while they're finishing up their year, anything like that, for any purpose.
Any purpose at all. Okay, now what is the benefit of taking a Thrive Cash loan versus normal student loan?
Okay, so the app was entirely designed for students, so the benefits are very apparent. So usually with loans, they take a while to get. So with Thrive Cash, you can have the cash within 24 hours.
Dang, that's quick.
Wow.
Yeah, on loans, sometimes you need to put an actual purpose for why you need the money, and that can be dependent on whether or not you actually get the money. Thrive Cash, it's totally up to you. And another cool thing is instead of looking at previous financial indicators like a credit score, it looks at something the student has accomplished. It looks at your future, and it only looks at your offer letter that you've signed. So they know that you're going to have that income, and they're not putting you in a sticky financial position where you wouldn't be able to pay the loan back. they make sure that you're going to have that income to pay back in the future.
So they see if you're thriving, they're going to give you the cash. All right? All right.
Wow, this really all sounds way too good to be true. What are there any other crazy benefits like that?
Yeah, it's honestly really great, and the people I've talked to have loved it. The biggest thing for me actually is that it doesn't negatively impact your credit score.
Okay.
So they don't do a hard pull on your credit, they only do a soft pull. So what that means is it's not a real inquisition into your credit. Because they're looking at other financial indicators, they don't need to put that burden on the student. So your credit score is completely fine with it.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Right. Now, how can we apply if we're really needing that quick cash?
Yeah, so it's an app. You sign up, you make a profile, and then you send in your cover letter. Not your cover letter, excuse me. Your actual offer letter that you've signed.
Okay.
And then you can have the cash within 24 hours. The application process takes no more than 20 minutes.
Wow. So have you heard any like crazy success stories?
Yeah, actually one of the students at Syracuse used it last summer, and because he had to relocate to New York City, super expensive.
Right.
Yeah,
It happens,
he was trying to ball on a
absolutely.
budget. He was trying to move to the city though. He wasn't getting his housing bonus until July, but he had to move there in June. So he was going to have the money covered, just wrong month. So he used it to move there in June, got a super nice apartment, was set up down in the financial district for his internship, worked out super well, had it paid off within the first 2 weeks as soon as he got his bonus.
Wow, Sam, that all sounds so cool. I wish I knew about this before I was going to be graduating in the next few months, but thank you so much for coming in to tell us about that
Thanks
today.
for having me.
Thank you so much, Sam.
All right, and coming up, a popular Syracuse restaurant preparing to open in Rochester.
Juice and Java, we'll be right back.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. Two staple Syracuse restaurants, XO Taco and Original Grain, were dreamed up by a local resident. Juice and Java senior correspondent Gabrielle Caracciolo talks to the creator to find out how he manages it all.
Meet Chris Biley, creator of Syracuse restaurants XO Taco and Original Grain. He's been in the kitchen his entire life.
My grandmother just loved to cook, and they were always cooking all the time. My grandfather was a meat packer. My mom loved to cook, but never formally trained or anything. Just a good family background with a lot of people that enjoyed cooking.
His family's love for cooking prompted him to get jobs that allowed him to be as close to food as possible. First as a dishwasher, then a bartender, and eventually in restaurant management. In fall of 2018, he opened XO Taco with a distinct vision.
In the subconscious, I think a lot of people thought that and visualized that it was, again, like lips, right? And lipstick and, X's and O's and like a kiss on like a love note.
Chris has always had a love for health eating, and that's why he decided to open up Original Grain here in downtown Syracuse when he couldn't find any healthy options. He's opening another OG in Rochester this May.
Chris's love for health food and fitness extends beyond Original Grain. He says working out every day is an important part of managing so many different roles.
For me, a motivator, a way for myself to sort of burn off not only steam, but gain some mental clarity and focus. And that's mental focus and clarity that really for me lasts throughout the whole day, so that my decision making is even heightened and better when I walk into the restaurant.
And while he's currently hard at work preparing for the May opening of Rochester's Original Grain, Chris says this is just the beginning.
We can eventually, moving forward after Rochester, plug in and have a really cool playbook for different cities and different towns and different people that are looking for OG.
Gabrielle.
Thank you so much, Gab. Well, coming up, Ryan Baker breaks down the latest on the anonymous Mega Millionaire jackpot winner and their donations to charity.
Keep it here.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. Most people only dream about winning the lottery, but for one lucky South Carolina woman, this became a reality.
That's right, Landon. Juice and Java correspondent Ryan Baker is in studio to tell us what she's decided to do with those winnings.
Thanks so much, guys. South Carolina woman who won the largest Mega Millions jackpot in U.S. history has chosen to donate a portion of her winnings to the Alabama Red Cross and a number of other state charities. The donations were given to the Red Cross to support the effort of aiding tornado relief. The woman wished to remain anonymous, but her lawyer, Jason Curlin, said that she claimed her lottery winnings in early March when Alabama was being struck by a tornado. Curlin said it felt like an exciting time in the winner's life while so many people were suffering nearby. The largest Mega Millions jackpot was over $1.5 billion, and the winner opted to take the lump sum amount of $878 million. She said that she recognizes the unique responsibility this newfound wealth has afforded her and given her the opportunities to support charities that are meaningful to her. Some other charities that she donated to include the Ronald McDonald House of Columbus, South Carolina, and an organization called The Middle, which supports women with breast cancer. The donor decided to not announce the amount of money she'd be giving, but hopes that her donations will spread awareness for these charities. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And coming up, we will talk about some of the craziest stories of this week.
Stay tuned.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Here we go.
We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, bro. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet. I just... With the groove, show proof, keep it smooth as I bust the move. Ayo, step in swiftly with me, keep up. If not, just stop, pop a spot, put your feet up, read up, pay attention, listen to the melody. Remember what you heard, got my words to the spelling bee. Top notch, got them all jumping like hopscotch, or jumping rope like double dutch in the air. Show me what you got, keep it hot like the heater. You thinking you a treat, cause you're sweet, but I'm sweeter. Leader of the pack, cause they all stay behind me. I'm old school, you don't skip tracks, you rewind me. Find me, working on my craft.
Welcome back to Juice in Java. Now, we saw a number of political stories steal the spotlight this week, so let's take a look at some of the crazy stories that you may have missed.
Well, thank goodness, Rebekah. If you've been on Twitter lately, you might have seen the Florida Man Challenge blowing up. The idea is to go on Google and type Florida Man followed by your birthday to see what the headline comes up and appears as. And with all the crazy news coming out of Florida, the results have been, well, hilarious.
Like this story from last month about a Florida man who allegedly threatened his family by texting them Coldplay lyrics, being pursued by police to end a standoff after being promised fresh pizza. The police department even tweeted this picture to prove the crazy incident really did happen.
I love that. I think that's a regular Florida day, maybe, possibly. And another headline from just last year's reads, Florida man dressed as Fred Flintstone pulled over the driving over with a footmobile. The story goes into further detail, saying the man was given a ticket for a speeding ticket and in a residential area and had to be detained when he would not cooperate. Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm not a huge fan, being from Florida myself, I'll put that out there. Right. I'm not a huge fan of this craze that's going on right now. But I did myself look up my birthday with the Florida Man name, and mine said that Florida Man finds boa constrictor in his car trunk. So, interesting. What was yours, Landon? I know you looked up yours too.
Not quite as, well, it's a lot more weird. It's not good, because you mentioned how it could be how this could be like the new horoscope.
I did say it was going to be your new horoscope.
So don't hang out with me, because mine is Florida man abuses wife and then drowns a chihuahua. That's not me, guys. I promise that's not me.
It's the new personality test.
Oh, God. I don't know why we're, no, don't even let me in the studio next time. But yeah, it's insane. But Florida, clearly there's some insanity, but you said the journalism is a little more light.
So the reason why there are so many, I mean, this is not the reason, but people are saying that the reason why the Florida man craze is such a thing is because the journalism laws down in Florida with, going to get public police records and getting access to these stories are very, very light. So journalists have access to all of these crazy stories that come out every single day. Like this squirrel story that we're going to go to now. It's another crazy story from this week. A squirrel is terrorizing a community after attacking several neighbors in Sarasota, right next to me in Florida. The squirrel was accidentally raised by one of the local residents, but turned violent and had to be released. It seems it won't go away quietly, though, as 4 people have now fallen victim to the quick rodent.
So this really hits home for you in more than one way.
No one's raising squirrels in Lakeland, at least nobody that I know.
Okay.
But maybe in Sarasota, which is like 20 minutes away from me.
So Florida squirrel now does this Florida man, why is so much going on in Florida?
I think the weirdest thing about that squirrel story, though, is that it's not just a random squirrel on the street that, was bit by a dog, maybe has some rabies or anything. This squirrel was raised by a family.
Oh.
So like by humans.
Sweet.
Why would you ever have a squirrel as a pet? I will say that my uncle did have a flying squirrel as a pet, so maybe it is a Florida thing. I shouldn't have even said that. I'm just digging myself a hole.
Florida
That's all
news
the time
anchor.
we have for you this morning. Make sure to follow CitrusTV on Twitter at CitrusTV News and check out our website. I'm Rebekah Castor.
And I'm Landon Wexler. Have a great weekend, Syracuse.